Hey Pony Pals, it's Emma from Pink Pony Studios, and today I've got something really cool for you guys. This is probably my favorite thing that we brought home from the horse park anyway, from BreyerFest 2019. This is the 30th anniversary Stablemate This is the 30th anniversary Stablemate commemorative set, and this features the past 10 years worth of BreyerFest celebration horses as Stablemate mini-me's. Now, I was talking to my mom earlier about how cool it would be if we still had all these celebration horses. I've actually sold quite a few of them. I think the ones that I still have, I have All Glory. That was my first BreyerFest, which is 2010. I'll talk a little bit about these each as we go along. But the celebration horses I still have, I have All Glory, and I have Oliver, who's back there, and I have Simba, and that's all I kept, just because shelf space mainly, you know. That and like Pecos looks cool here, but I don't like these for it that much. But anyway, let's go ahead and start popping these guys open, and then I can kind of give you a little bit of a rundown on the celebration horses themselves, and you know what the bigger version of the model looked like and what the theme of that year's BreyerFest was. Alright, so out of the past 10 years, and we've gone every year for the past 10 years, so I have been to every BreyerFest, I've seen every one of these horses that's in this set, and we at one point, had every big size celebration model. So actually when we went into the pop-up store to get these, we were able to like handpick from a lot of them. So I tried my best, all the ones that we brought home with us, whether it was mine or somebody that, you know, I was getting one for a friend, or one that we brought home with us to sell, I did actually get to handpick all of them, and they were all really nice. And I like that about the pop-up store. It seems to be less rushed than the actual Breyer store. Alright, so let's start with 2010. And 2010 here is All Glory, which is this little dude. Just gonna give him a quick check over for flaws. He's actually, he's not quite glossy. He may look glossy on camera. He's actually like a really nice satin matte finish, if you guys want to check that out. So All Glory was the celebration horse for 2010, and that year it was Lights Camera BreyerFest. And that was the first year we ever went to BreyerFest, and I still think that that is my favorite theme. Definitely my favorite theme. The India one was a close second. The Gateway to India one was a close second, and I'll get to him later. But All Glory, that year of BreyerFest was really cool. That's when they still did the raffles in the arena. We had like a red carpet party in the arena, and then the special runs were really neat. This was not my favorite celebration horse. The bigger version is on Rejoice, which is kind of the wonky looking national show horse. But that being our first year BreyerFest, it was also the first year that I did the youth and kids show at BreyerFest. And my celebration horse won the celebration horse class. And for those of you who don't know what that is, That is when, at the youth show, they take everybody's celebration horse and they put them on the table and they judge an entire class of just the celebration horse. And there were probably 60 plus of the same horse in that class, and mine took first. And then he went on to win me a reserve grand champion. So that year, my first year of BreyerFest and my first year of the kids show, I took home 2 glossy prize models. And those were my glossy Rachel Alexandras. So that was a pretty special occasion. If I wasn't so attached to that specific horse, I probably would sell him, the big version. But he has a nice, proud place in my collection on my sentimental shelf, where he resides permanently. I don't think that's one I'll ever part with. Okay, so next up, BreyerFest 2011 is Pecos. And this is probably my least favorite of, well, not quite my least favorite. Probably my second least favorite of the big guys, because I'm not a fan of the Esprit mold. However, I really love Murado, and this has got to be one of my favorites out of this whole set, is this little pearly dude. Look how shiny he is. And we just turn around in front of the camera. And I know we kind of take a risk of, like, when you get stablemates and they do dapples on them, you know, it's either disaster or fine. This guy's actually pretty good. His near side is better than his off side, but, you know, not being able to see that, I still think we picked a pretty good one on his show side. But this guy's super duper cute. That year of BreyerFest was Fairy Tales. I can't remember the exact theme name, but I know it was Fairy Tales, and that was a pretty cool one too. Should I line them up? Alright, next one is BreyerFest 2012, and that was when they started doing the countries again. They had done like the US and stuff before, but this is when they got on their kind of country kick. Well, this was the year of the Brits. It was British invasion, and I think it had to do with the royal wedding too. I think that was a big part of it, was the royal wedding. I can't remember. But that year the celebration horse was a drum horse named Mariah's Boone. And this is an absolute cutie. I really love how this color looks on the little cob mold. I'm very excited to show some of these guys. I mean, they're just, and his blue eye is very well painted. Now the big version of that was on the Othello, and that was actually one that I did keep for quite a while. I did like that guy. Okay, 2013. One of my not so favorite themes, but it did actually have some nice special runs. Not my favorite celebration horse either, because as you guys know, say it with me kids, Emma doesn't like the smart chick. But I love this. Like this is smart and shiny. And that BreyerFest was Denim and Diamonds, I believe. So it was all like Western themed. It was actually not a bad theme, but me not being a fan of the celebration horse, that was one that I kept for like no time at all. I think that this absolutely does smart and shiny justice, and his dapples are immaculate. I mean, this is a really, look how soft they are. He's super cool, and I'm really loving the metallic sheen as well. Now this guy probably has to be my least favorite celebration horse, just because he's solid black. That was a pretty interesting year of BreyerFest. This is BreyerFest 2014. This was the 20th anniversary year. And Gwitsin Van Tieksel, I mean, he looks almost identical to the original Goffert, which is what they had him on. But this is a really neat little stablemate, little glossy Frisian. You're not going to be able to tell on camera, but I can assure you he has brown eyes. Like they're actually bi-colored, which is pretty cool. But that was the silver anniversary of BreyerFest in 2014. All right, next up, BreyerFest 2015. Simbo, work with me here. Work with me. Come out. Okay. BreyerFest 2015 was Viva la France. and that was obviously the French year. And I'm not a fan of Roy the Belgian, but that is the mold that this big boy was on, Simba Dupont de Tournai. However, that mold in a lovely Bayronne color is phenomenal. I just now am selling that horse, but it's just to make some room. If he doesn't sell, I am not going to be disappointed, because that fills a class that not a lot of people are in. And he's really, really pretty. But that was a pretty cool year of BreyerFest. And this little guy, this little chunky dude, definitely does Simba justice. Very cool. 2016 was BreyerFest Carnival, which overall had a very Brazil theme to it. However, they modeled a lot of the special runs after different countries that participate in the Olympics, because it was the Summer Games. So the celebration horse was Imperador das Aguas, JM, and he actually had his own new mold for that year, which was the Mangalarja Marchador. Now, what's really neat about this little guy, besides the fact that the dapples are stunning, is he actually has the brands. Nice and tiny and very, very crisp. It's pretty cool. You can see he's got the JM up on his front, and I believe it's 192 on his stifle in the back. 2017 was probably, it's definitely up there in themes for me. I really, really enjoyed it. Which was Gateway to India. And though I didn't keep the celebration horse, Nasrudin was probably one of my favorites. And I absolutely love seeing him on this mold, because I love this mold. This is Darley from the Stablemate Club, I believe, last year. And God, is he a cutie? And he looks so good in chestnut. I'm a total sucker for chestnuts. But this was the Gateway to India year, and Nasrudin is a Marwari. So granted, they don't have a Marwari stablemate mold. I think they should, but they don't. But this guy looks really good on Darley. Next up was last year's BreyerFest, and one of my favorite stablemate molds of all time. This is Brass Hat, and last year's BreyerFest was off to the races. So it was all about thoroughbreds and horse racing and all different kinds of horse racing too. It wasn't just like track racing. But this is definitely one of my favorite new stablemate molds. I've done a lot of customs on this mold. For those of you who've seen the Grayson video, you guys know that, how much I love this mold. And though last year's BreyerFest wasn't exactly a cool theme for me then, as someone who owns an off-the-track thoroughbred, I think it's really cool that they actually honored the heritage of the thoroughbred and horse racing and all that kind of stuff. So granted, it wasn't 100% up my alley, but it did come with some very cool models. And last but not least, we have Oliver's Mini-Me, which I don't know if I would have chosen this mold, but hey, it's still really cute, and it leads to a lot of breed possibilities, because this guy is kind of your generic horse. It is the WEG, the World Equestrian Games driving stablemate, and he's not solid black either. I was a little concerned that even with the tiny guys, they'd go for solid black. But he's a really nicely shaded black-brown. If you guys have seen the Celebration Horse video yet, guess what? There's no masking there. They got it this time. But this is a really, really cute mold, and I'm excited to see what we can show it as. And I think it'll be a really cool addition to have with Big Oliver. Alright guys, that is all of the 10 horses from the past 10 BreyerFests that make up the 30th anniversary commemorative set of stablemates. If you guys check out our website, we do actually have a couple of these sets left. They're absolutely adorable, but we only have, I think, 2, maybe 2. So if you want to snag those, go quick, because I have a feeling they're going to be flying off the shelves. They are awesome! And I can't wait to get these guys in the show ring. I think my mom and I are probably going to end up splitting them 50-50. Because there is 10 of them and 2 of us. So thanks for sticking around. If you guys want to leave me a comment in the comment section and tell me which one of these is your favorite, and maybe which celebration horse in general is your favorite. And then don't forget to like and subscribe. We love hearing from you guys. Until next time, Pony Pals. Bye!